T.S. Eliot, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring will be to arrive at the place where we started and know it for the first time.
The Interplanetary Podcast. The exploration of space for the benefit of all mankind. Your hosts here in London, Matthew Russell and Jamie Franklin.
So that was a quote read out to us by Brian Blessed, Jamie.
The one, the only. Can you believe that happened, Matt?
I can't quite believe it happened. That really was an extraordinary meeting one of my absolute childhood heroes, and just a hero, just general hero. I absolutely
he really
love
is,
Brian
and just
Blessed.
and everything he says is true, unbelievably. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that can't be true, and then you look it up, and it's like, oh yeah, it happened.
I see. I see what he's talking about.
I know we always say it, like people being lovely, but he's got to top them all, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's definitely lovely.
Giving us so much time and so much passion and energy, and having a laugh, and a just all-round cracker.
The Interplanetary Podcast, putting the ace back into space.
We should point out now that we were supposed to have our interview between 6 and 7 in the evening, and but Brian was running late, and he ended up arriving at 7:20, so he's already late for a key speech he was giving to the British Interplanetary Society, and we thought. And then he gave a 2-hour speech to the British Interplanetary Society, and we thought, well, come on, he's an old guy. There's no way is he going to come back and do our podcast. And then he came over and goes, oh, don't be silly, and went upstairs, and he did an hour with us.
Yeah.
And he was so lovely and so nice to us as well. And he was actually, you could tell he was really happy to be there. He is an enormous space advocate.
Really
and
is.
He's actually he's going around kicking asses at government level. So he deserves a lot of respect. He's
the utmost respect. Whilst his brain might be like a pinball machine going off on tangents, which is the best thing ever. He really does care, and no one's more passionate than him.
How much has he lived his life? He has lived his life big time, hasn't he?
He's lived 20 lives. It's insane.
Which is,
and very
unlike
inspirational.
Us two Muppets,
Matt, did you walk away and sort of think, I need to sort my stuff out. I need to get doing stuff.
Oh, no, absolutely. I walked away and realised, yes, that it actually gave me a bit of inspiration for the show, in fact. I really think that if we could be a little bit more like Brian, a little bit more like Carl Sagan, and it's all about just being aspirational about space again, about just treating it like it's somewhere that something magical can happen.
Absolutely.
That's what I thought. But just to bring us back down to earth, Jamie.
Oh, don't do that.
So I've got a couple of corrections from last week's show.
Oh, I love our corrections.
Go on, one from you and one from me, and both are quite funny, actually.
Okay.
So our friend Jake from the We Martians podcast,
big
and
up
we
yourselves,
talked about
Jake.
Yeah, big up the We Martians podcast. It's really, really good.
Ace.
In actual fact, I was listening to his Off Nominal podcast as well this morning, which he...
Oh, I haven't heard that. Is it good?
Yeah. Yes, it's a lot more chatty. It's a lot more chatty.
Okay.
So, so you should check out both of those. But Jake writes in because he noticed that I cocked up, and I'm really embarrassed by this one. So T-Rex and Triceratops lived at the exact same time, of course.
Oh, Matt.
I wasn't in my mind I was thinking of Stegosaurus, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up. Normally I pick these up in the edit, but I didn't pick it up in the edit either.
You realise
so
I've gone and told a load of people who don't listen to the podcast that fact.
Yeah, it's
now
Stegosaurus, not Triceratops.
Myself.
I know. Do you know what? In my mind it was that, and I thought, the worst thing about it is that Jake's now got one up on me.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll have to scan through his podcast.
Oh, but it turned out
with a fine-toothed comb.
Yes, we're going to go through and find every single thing that was right. I did actually start a very funny thing that Brendan from Are We There Yet said that someone keeps writing into his show saying, "Oh, you said it put it into orbit when what you really meant to say was it put it into geosynchronous transfer orbit."
Oh God!
And it's just like, are you joking?
Life's too short, geek.
And Brendan's got a boss as well. Apparently he went to his general manager.
Really?
Yeah, that's ridiculous, huh?
Oh, God.
And another, but luckily there was a correction for you as well, Jamie.
Oh, go on then.
And this is really cool. So this guy called Alex,
Yeah.
he wrote in and was telling me how much he had enjoyed the podcast.
Nice.
And he said that you mentioned the scanning balls from Prometheus.
I did, yeah.
And you called them dogs.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. But they're actually called pups.
Oh.
And the reason why he knows this is because he is the prop maker who made them.
You're not serious.
How cool is that?
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely deadly serious. Yeah.
Alex, that is so unbelievably cool. I'm a massive, massive fan of not only, of course, the Alien
franchise.
It's way more than a trilogy now, isn't it? But I love all of the Alien films, and I loved Prometheus.
Did you?
A lot of people bad-mouthed it, but
sucks.
I absolutely thought it was one of the best. I thought it was brilliant, and I'd love to know more.
Do you know what? I do know that Alex did a lot of work on things like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Matt, can we email Alex and get him on the show?
Yeah, we can get him on the show. He can talk about
sorry,
some
I
sci-fi
called them
stuff.
dogs instead of pups, Alex. Noted, but that's super
yes,
cool.
Let's do it. Let's get him on the show. Alex,
Sick.
if you're out there, let us know. Get on. Right. I think we should. What do you want to do? Do you want to do the news first, Jamie, or should we just have or should we do a nice big long Brian Blessed interview?
I reckon we should save the best till last, and let's do the news.
Let's do the news. I don't know why I haven't covered this story yet, Jamie, but a story I picked up really, really early on in Twitter, which is really exciting, was that there were sort of Twitter rumbles about an object that had entered the solar system that wasn't from the solar system.
Yes.
So this object was called A2017U1.
Rolls
and it was
off the tongue.
spotted on October the 18th, which is Jay Stokes' birthday.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jay, for back then. And it was zooming in, and it wasn't noticed that it was on this very, very strange trajectory until after it had been round the sun in September and passed within 15 million miles of the Earth. And was on its way back out of the solar system. But it was going really, really, really stupidly fast. Stupidly fast. And it's everyone's thought that these objects might exist and come into our solar system. There's an amazing fact in this. That 99% of the material that's around the sun in the protoplanetary disk, as they say, when the sun is formed, 99% of it gets chucked out into interstellar space. So there must be tons of this stuff out there whizzing around the galaxy, and occasionally bits of it enter other people's solar systems.
So basically, this is the remnants from a star. Or a sun?
No, it could be made. It's made up of remnants of very, very early galactic dust. I mean, it might be bits of old stars that had blown up billions of years ago. So this stuff is whatever it was very, very, very old. And of course, they've had chance. It's the first time they've ever had a chance to analyse one of these. An object that has come from another solar system.
How much data have they had from it?
Do you know what? I don't know. And
do we know what it's made of? Do we know? Can we know that?
But I think it's made of rock, and it was going so fast and was so hot it was practically glowing red. I think they do know what it's made from, and it definitely wasn't a comet because it wasn't putting out any kind of dusty trail behind it, or no gas or anything. So it was literally just a great big.
And let me ask you this, Matt: How much did the alien nuts get involved?
Oh, do you know what? I haven't followed up the story on the alien nut side.
Every time astronomers spot something that they're not quite sure what it is, it's always a UFO, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like, it's here, finally, they've come to visit us. Have they? Or is it a rock?
I reckon it's just a rock. I mean, it could be. No,
I mean, Matt, as much as I would love a visit from a little alien.
Well, Jack, it brings me. You bring me nicely onto the next point, Jamie.
Oh yeah,
because we were in Arthur C. Clarke's house interviewing good old Brian
Clang,
and Arthur C. Clarke also wrote a book, a very famous book called Rama.
Yeah,
and Rama was about a spaceship that enters the solar system and literally does a flyby of Earth and is just using the sun really as a gravity assist, it would seem, and the whole story is based around finding this mysterious object as it whizzes through the solar system.
Right.
So obviously this asteroid is very reminiscent of that, and so a lot of people want to call this asteroid, instead of A2017U1, they want to rename it Rama, and probably
That's
rightly
cool.
so. Really, it'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
So, but it still needs to be confirmed.
Hey, Matt, talking of the British Interplanetary Society, I
Yeah.
think that we should say congratulations to our mate Colin Philp, who made vice president recently.
Yeah, so he's vice president.
And Colin was
of the
also
BIS.
he was the man who took 6 months to get Brian Blessed to come down and give a talk, and subsequently then talk to us. So we owe him a great debt of gratitude. So congratulations and thank you, Colin.
Yeah, Colin, what a great guy. I love spending coffee mornings with Colin.
Lovely guy, and he's a Deep Purple fan, isn't he, Matt?
Me and Colin are off to go and see Deep Purple, courtesy of Ian Pace. But
well, he's a bit good, isn't he?
So
bit of dad rock for you both.
Bit of dad rock, yeah. One of my favourite things in the last week was I know you love the name of Sierra Nevada's Dream Chaser.
Oh, do I
Dream Weaver, Midnight Beguiler.
It just sounds like something that Matt Berry would make up.
Yeah, I like to think of it as the female wing of the Jamie Franklin fan club.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't like to talk about
they're
it.
They're dream chasers. They're dream chasers, Jamie. They're just chasing
dream.
the dream.
They can dream.
So, the Dream Chaser was taken up to 12,500 feet in a Chinook helicopter,
right,
and then just dropped. And I'll tell you what, the video footage is absolutely brilliant of this thing gliding down, and it does a little wobble. They're obviously checking like loads of kind of flight dynamic stuff out. So it does this little wobble and then comes in for landing.
Right.
And it doesn't have a front landing gear. It sort of comes down on a little skid. So the two back wheels hit the tarmac, and then this little kind of skid at the front goes scraping into the old runway.
Did you used to do that, Matt, when you were a kid? We used to call them rainbow skids, which are kind of like
time.
on your BMX.
Oh yeah. I used to do it on my racer.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you just put your foot down,
skidding on a racer.
Around. Yeah,
that's wrong.
No, skidding. Yeah, no, mate.
No, you weren't cool. It's all about the BMX.
I've managed to convince my two kids that Jay and I, of the Jay that was born on October the 18th, invented parkour.
Right.
So, suck it up.
Wow. Okay. So did you actually invent parkour, or are you sending them on a wild goose chase?
Well, to be honest, Jay and I used to jump from wall to wall outside the pharmacy
when you were pissed.
When we were kids. Well, no, when we were kids. And that predates the invention of parkour. So yes, we invented parkour. It's just ridiculous. No one invented parkour. We're just jumping from building to building. It's just a silly thing.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first.
Yeah. So in fact, I'm going to make that fact. Jay and I invented parkour.
I wonder who's going to write in. Actually, I invented parkour. This is Mr. Parkour.
Monsieur Parkour.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get back to Sierra Nevada's.
Let's do it.
Dream Chaser, Dream Weaver, Midnight Beguiler. So the background is that it was at one point supposed to be competing with the Boeing Starliner or the SpaceX Dragon as the commercial crew capsule that was going to take astronauts up to the International Space Station.
Okay.
But it got dropped by NASA because they didn't think it was going to be ready in time.
Yeah.
They didn't think it would be completed by 2017. But hang on a second, neither's Starliner and Dragon, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
So they've been, but it has won a contract again now for taking up freight to the International Space Station, I believe. So it looks like, so it looks like in 2019 they're on track for a launch of the Dream Chaser into space.
I might get, and stop me, Matt, if this is going too far, but I might get a Dream Chaser tattoo.
Do it.
Should we both get one?
Yes. Are you going to have the?
Yes.
Are you going to have? Yes. Are you going to have the vehicle, or are you just going to have the words Dream Chaser?
I think it's got to be the vehicle.
Okay. So a little sort of mini space shuttle-y looking thing.
Yeah.
It does look cool. It's yet another gravitational wave discovery, Jamie.
We need to get surfing.
Yeah. So this is the fifth one. This is the fifth one now. Black hole merger, and this time it's the lightest one so far. The energy, so basically, one was 7 times the mass of the sun, one was 12 times the mass of the sun, and then a black hole was 18 times the mass of the sun, which meant, in the words of our friend Dr. Jackie Bell,
love Jackie,
that one solar mass was emitted as gravitational waves. So that was the energy that went into creating this gravitational wave.
One solar mass.
One of our listeners actually asked if we could do a deep dive on gravitational waves. And
deep dive, let's go in.
So the moment they said it, I noticed that Jackie was tweeting about it. So I've asked Jackie to come on the show in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to do a deep dive on gravitational waves with her.
No one is better placed to talk about that than our friend, Dr. Jackie Bell.
Yeah, I mean, curiously, doing deep diving isn't really a speciality, if you remember the TV programme. But hopefully that's a skill that she's now currently working on.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
An astronaut.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
Here's a British one. Another British one, Jamie.
Go on.
60, and this went pretty much unnoticed in the press. Completely, no one really said anything about it. 60 years ago, Britain entered the space race with the Skylark rocket. So we actually, and this is 1957, so only a little bit further on from Sputnik. So, a couple of months after Sputnik, a month after Mutnik. We have a Skylark rocket launched from Woomera in Australia.
Is that how you pronounce it? Woomera?
Yeah.
Australia have got the best names, haven't they?
So, it's and that's a very, very popular launch site back in the day. And it's also where our first satellite was launched. Our first and only satellite, Prospero. The Skylark rocket, do you know that the technology that has come from that really was the thing that kick-started X-ray astronomy.
Was it?
And, so when you look at these massive observatories in space, Newton, Chandra and Suzuki, then really they owe their heritage to the Skylark rocket that flew. It flew 437 times.
That is a lot of flights.
And the last one was 12 years ago. So as sounding rockets go, it's probably one of the most famous and successful. So that was Britain's real kind of big contribution to good
space, work, Skylark.
Well done, Skylark.
Tip of the cap.
Right, I think it's time.
We can't leave people hanging any longer, can we?
No, well, unless you want to talk about the new discovery, an Earth-like planet close to Earth.
Nah, let's just. We've got to get this. Let's get it Brian
done.
Blessed.
We're only going to hear half of what we heard now. And we'll play the other half soon.
Yes.
There's a lot to get
through.
We
can't hit you with that much.
No. It was mind-blowing enough in one sitting, so we're gonna split this up. It's just too good.
It's too good.
It's time for Brian Blessed. Écoutez.
Enjoy.
We're here at the British Interplanetary Society, and we're thrilled to be joined by actor, explorer, warrior, zookeeper, prince of the birdmen, and an all-round legend. It is the one and only Brian Blessed. Welcome to the show, Brian.
My goodness, that's a big build-up. Of course, it's all true. And I'm very modest and self-effacing. But that's absolutely true. What a build-up. Marvellous. I can't live up to that, can I?
Well,
yes, I can.
Yes, you can, because there is no end to your talents. One question that I really wanted to ask was, I noticed in your unbelievably fantastic book, The Pandemonium, you mentioned that George Lucas was impressed by your membership of the British Interplanetary Society. Can you tell us a bit more about that story?
Oh, yes. I mean, anyone who talks about George Lucas and Kubrick and people like this, I think you're lying. People have been sued because it's not been true. But he was impressed by my credentials and my knowledge of space, Lucas. And he became a child with me. When I met him for Star Wars, I was going to be one of the Jedi. And then he said, no, I think in actual fact you're too powerful. It's not that you can't be gentle, but your personality is too strong. So I want you to be Boss Nass. I mean, the Americans have a great adoration and admiration for the interplanetary, society. They absolutely adore it. They love its history. And for them, it's the creme de la creme. So it means a great deal. You should get him here. He'll come along. He would absolutely love it, because he's a child when it comes to space. He would just love it.
Well, that's something on our agenda.
And I mean, and Kubrick felt the same. It's interesting that my latest book, The Panther in the Kitchen, about all my wild animals, I'm kind of working in the garden one day, putting all my tomatoes up and this. And a man called Jimmy Liggett turns up and said that Kubrick wants to meet you. He's doing Barry Lyndon. I said, and he wants you to play a very tiny man who's gay. No, it's a big joke. It's a joke, isn't it? No, but it's not. This is what he wants. Please come along, Brian, because he's a power unto himself, law unto himself. That's ridiculous. I said, the cameras actually make me bigger than I am. When I go on camera, I become 7 feet, and I, become 20 stone. I said, I will do anything. I can act yetis, I can act anything. You want dwarfs, God knows what, but I can't act a little man who's gay. I can't either. Anyway, so I sent him on his way, Jimmy, who was really upset. And he came back 5 weeks later and said, Kubrick wants you. He wants to meet. Please, you've got to go. I've got a car outside. I'll have a quick shower. I was intrigued. Anyway, I got there, and the great Kubrick, that no one ever meets, was directing Barry Lyndon. And there were thousands of soldiers and about 1,000 sheep in this particular scene. And I arrived there very quietly, because I'm actually normally a very kind of quiet person. I've played 5 parts that are over the top. And I'm there sitting, and, right, Mr. Kubrick, we're almost ready. Okay. He turned around and looked at me. Hello, Brian. Brian Blessed. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Kubrick. I won't be a moment. Action. And the sheep went, and the soldiers went, and then he stopped. Oh, my God, he said, cut, cut, cut. Didn't anybody see my finger go up? That's when you release the sheep. They're all terrified of him. Mr. Kubrick, I'm so sorry, we couldn't quite see it. Oh, I'm wasting my time. Brian, come on, let's go for a walk. And so all the sheep were left there. All the soldiers, I'm in an army, and we went for a 1.5 hour walk. And so he left them. I mean, he left them just like that. And I walked with him, and we talked about everything. We talked about the universe. I talked about all the Russian great directors, Pondycheck and composers and Einstein and everything else. And he loved all that. He was fascinated. I knew all about it. Interplanetary Society and all that. So he was intrigued by all that. And we discussed kind of mountains, and then he discussed the fact that he was working with NASA and using a lot of their camera techniques, new techniques from the NASA cameras, which made his film of Barry Lyndon look like it was lit by candles. So he went into the lenses, made it look like candles. And he went into all that. We discussed mountains, we discussed gorillas, we discussed philosophers for an hour and a half. And he was shocked by what I knew and fascinated. And and then he said something banal. He said, tell me about Kilimanjaro. He said, and about this leopard. I said, well, yes. Well, Kilimanjaro is 19,336 feet high, and on the top is a leopard all frozen in the snow, Leopard Point. And no one knows how it got there. Why does a leopard go to this great height without oxygen? Half of oxygen at sea level. Nobody knows. And Kubrick looked at me and said, well, maybe the Martians put him there. Now, it wasn't even imaginative what he said. It was banal. It was silly. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say that is the most stupid idea, and a child would do better than that. Because with his great imagination and perception, what a silly thing to say. But he was quite serious. And then I joked with him once or twice about certain films, with Kirk Douglas, and people he didn't work with, Marlon Brando, and all that. And I tried to make him laugh. And I made his eyes moisten. He had black eyes, a white face, and very, very pale face, and very intense. He reminded me of a giant dwarf. I looked at him and I said, you don't laugh, do you? Mr. Kubrick, you don't laugh at all, do you? I said, well, I've been very funny now, but I said, your eyes moisten. Yes, that's true, Brian. And he was like that. Anyway, we gradually walked back to the caravan, and there was Gary Linden himself, the actor playing it. His name will come to me in a second. Good heavens, playing Barry Lyndon. And he was in the caravan, and I walked into his special caravan, and he made me coffee and that. And then he plunged his face into mine, Kubrick, and said, tell me about boxing. And it's a subject I know a hell of a lot about. I was Yorkshire schoolboy boxing champion. And when I was a child, we had great British heavyweights who were equal to Joe Louis. So I talked about me going to America when I was in Z-Cars in 1965 and meeting Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Oh, this is Dempsey, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, as a Charles Jesdale Wilcott, Gene Tunney, Muhammad Ali, the whole lot. And they were at Dempsey's restaurant in New York. That's the one in Godfather. You'll see it. And I had a wonderful time with them because I was the guest of the police. And Dempsey, I said to Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, a white man, I said, you're my dad's great hero. And I said, to a certain extent, mine as well. But then I said, I put it, which is a silly question, because I'd got Joe Louis as a child, Jesdale Wilcott, Gene Tunney, Dempsey, Rocky Marciano, and others. And it's a silly question, and there's no answer to it. Who is the greatest heavyweight of all time? And they all unreservedly said, oh, Rocky Marciano, 13 stone, 5.5 pounds, 5'9", who was never defeated. So he beat everybody. And Jesdale Wilcott said, my God, I hit Rocky about 100 times in the World Heavyweight Championship. He didn't even grunt. He was Marciano was terrifying. Rocky's, oh my God. And also what makes him better than us, he said, he retired with lots of money, undefeated, and we retired in debt. So they all roared with laughter about that. And I said to him, well, I said to Jack Dempsey, my father always wanted to know who would win between you and Joe Louis. It is always considered the greatest heavyweight of all time is Muhammad Ali, but the best is considered to be Joe Louis, the brown bomber. Ali said that too. He said, oh, I couldn't have coped with him. Not the speed, not his terrifying accuracy and power. Would you have beaten Dempsey? And Dempsey said, I'll answer that, Brian. I think that in a straightforward fight, he'd have outpointed me. Well, he couldn't have knocked me out, like he did with everybody else. And Louis said, yes, but Jack would have beat me in a phone booth. So they were very generous to each other. Of course, I'll end on that note by saying that knowing all about boxing and heavyweights, you cannot judge kind of Henry Cooper or Joe Louis or any of the big heavyweights at the moment, Joshua and all of them. Because if Marciano were alive today, he'd be 4 stone heavier and be 5 inches taller. They weren't as big then. But nevertheless, taking all that into account, I don't think Joshua, any of them, could have coped with Marciano. They'll go to Marciano and just simply say to him, have you ever seen a Marciano fight? It's like the end of the world. He could fight 500 rounds non-stop. He had a Suzy Q, his right hand, which put people in hospital for life. And the presidents wanted to meet him in America and he showed this great big... And he was a sweet guy out of the ring, but lethal in the ring, absolutely terrifying in the ring. It was a great Rocky Mountain. So anyway, I discussed all this with Kubrick. And then when I finished, and Kubrick said, right, well, I'd like you in a few weeks' time to come to my house, I've forgotten the name of it, in Somerset. Come and visit me there, and to discuss the boxing and everything else. Because it's my biggest passion. Surprised me. I'd have thought it'd be space. Right, surprised me. I said, it's extraordinary, isn't it, Stanley? I said, you brought me along here not to offer me the part of a small man who's gay. You brought me here to really question me and milk me about boxing. He said, yeah, that's right. Damn it. So it wasn't about a small man who's gay. And he went, ah! And he roared with laugh. At last he break. You, Brian? A small man who's gay? Absolutely impossible. See you in a few weeks, Brian. The bastard. Anyway, it was most intriguing to meet you. But anyway, long story short, like many people, the interplanetary is such a... Never change it. Interplanetary. One day you will have aliens come in here and talk. Of course you will. I mean, there's so much going on at the moment. What is in the realm of the imagination, I feel very strongly, exists. So everything you imagine about the universe exists. I mean, I didn't tell them down there, but life, I feel, is not a discovery at all. Not a discovery at all. That's nonsense. It imprisons us. As T.S. Eliot, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring will be to arrive at the place where we started and know it for the first time. So I talked to Carl Sagan about it. I said, it's all memory, isn't it? Yes, yes. We're not discovering, we're remembering. We have to remember. So everything in the universe we're part of. We're as old as the universe. So we know it. We have to remember it. We remember the Drake equation. We remember this equation, that equation. We're remembering. We have to find ways of remembering.
Actually, talking of exploring, Brian, you're just mentioning the amazing places that you've been on Earth. And only, was it a couple of weeks ago in the news about lava tubes being found on the moon?
Yes.
And now we're talking about going back there and inhabiting the moon as well as Mars, of course.
Yes.
Now, what tips would you have for any of our listeners about how to cope living in extreme environments?
Well, we're very adaptable. I think Tim Peake has suddenly been there for 6 months. And he did every exercise, he performed brilliantly, and he's a credit to the human race. But the fact is, he has suffered from lack of gravity. And this is a problem. So now that we go into space, we have got to have artificial gravity. We are very vulnerable. When we first went to the moon, when we looked at the cameras of Aldrin and Buzz Aldrin and Armstrong, etc., Collins, when they looked at the filming, they saw these white streaks. And of course, it was cosmic rays. Now, I've been at Everest 3 times, but I've been up there without oxygen on 1 occasion. And I have a gift for it. I'm not bragging, it's just, I have this gift, thank God. I think it's because of love in a way, that I'm looked after. But when I was between, there's a change at 5,000 feet, there's a change at 10,000 feet, there's a change at 15,000 feet, height of Mont Blanc. Then you feel the altitude, a change at 22,500 feet. You've got 14 days to live and you will die. Lack of atmospheric pressure, gamma rays, cosmic rays, lack of oxygen, you name it. At 28,000 feet, you've got 1 day to live. And it doesn't matter how well acclimatized you are. When I was at 28,000 feet, I had a day to live. I felt great. But they're on the, Brian, you got to go, turn back soon. You must come down. And you're passing people who are dead like statues because their oxygen's run out. But I didn't know. Anyway, and so forth. Therefore, that's why the Russians and Americans are very interested. I kind of can take cosmic rays. They are lethal. So they're penetrating me. So, there's a price to pay. I've got double vision at the moment because of my Russian space training. I've almost finished it. That's why I've got double vision, the Russian glasses. So I can see properly. Now, there you are. I can see you perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry
now, there's 8 of you. But there's a price to pay. And now, we do belong to this universe, etc. But we have to find ways. The moon is very interesting in the fact being our sister planet, you might say, because they're finding helium-3 on the moon, which apparently there's thousands and thousands of tons of it. Of course, helium doesn't land on the Earth. It bounces off our atmosphere and lands on the moon. So it permeates the moon. And it is said, don't ask me what it is, that a ton of it will give Britain pollution-free fuel for about 500 years. So the moon is going to be our saviour. A very suitable place to land is Shackleton, down at the point, the South Pole, the Shackleton Point, because it embraces Britain. But my mind works in all kinds of ways. The scientists love it. There was a Russian mystic called Gurdjieff, Georges Gurdjieff, and Uspensky was his student. And Gurdjieff once talked about everything, Jesus and everything else. For instance, it's commonly understood by science that the Hindu religion completely correlates with science. All our modern science equates with the Hindu religion. I haven't examined it that much, but apparently I will accept Carl Sagan said the same. Completely in tune with science. We haven't caught the Hindu religion up, he said. Gurdjieff was talking to Uspensky, one of his students, and said, tell us about the moon, because there are laws. Yes, there are laws in the solar system, there's laws in the universe, etc. There are laws here, there are laws there. I'm not a follower of Gurdjieff. But I remember reading this bit by Gurdjieff in Search of the Miraculous. And Gurdjieff said, there will be problems. And the moon, you see, the Earth is under the law of 98, which suits us perfectly. But the moon is law 48. Then he went on to different planets. The moon is 48, which in actual fact means that if you live there, you can become childish. A strange thing to say. But it was interesting that the next moon landing, they got their vehicles out. And they were driving around and going, woo, 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 woo. And NASA said, guys, it's wonderful to see your celebrations. You've been doing it for several hours now. Can you please switch off the engines and get back to sensor. Guys, you're behaving like children. And always remember Gurdjieff saying that it will make... So the people who live on the moon people might say, when they're leaving Bridlington or they're leaving Brixham or they're leaving Birmingham, we don't like really going to the moon because the people who live there, they're a bit childish. So I'm just saying that each world will have an effect. But we're part of it. And Mars, we're finding, is a miraculous place. It's mountains. I'll never forget Chris Bonington once. Bonington... was a friend of the past and helped me with my mountaineering, and hell with altitude, by the way. And he came back from trying to climb Menlungsi with all the British climbers, Alan Hinks and all of them, and David Brashears from America. And he had flu, and he'd failed, and he came back, and he stayed with me for 2 or 3 days. Oh, Brian, and having dinner this evening, and people were in there. I don't want to talk about mountains, said Bonington. I don't want to see a ridge or a Berkshire or an erect. I don't want to ever see a mountain again. I thought, right, good. After about an hour, I made sure he could hear me. I was talking about Mars. And it's really amazing, Alan, on Mars, one of the Olympus Mons is about the size of Spain and about nearly 3 times higher than Mount Everest. And Bonington, what's that? Sorry, I was just saying that Olympus Mons is nearly 3 times higher than Mount Everest, the size of Spain. And Chris looked at me and said, what's the atmosphere like on Mars? I said, you want to give up mountaineering? The next bloody instant he wants to go to bloody Mars. The Interplanetary Podcast is alive!
So, how brilliant. How cool.
Incredible. And there's more to come next week.
Absolutely genius. So I'm going to quickly finish with what's coming up.
All right, what's coming up?
So there's a Falcon 9 rocket that's about to launch, probably launching right now as I'm speaking, and it's got a mystery on board. A mystery called Zuma, and that's not a type of exercise. It is a secret satellite.
How secret?
It's very secret. Like, very little is known about what this thing does. Like, really little. The mission patch is very plain. There's no kind of crocodile or Black Knight in there. It's just literally a plain old mission patch with a Falcon 9 and a planet behind
Interesting.
it.
If you were a betting man, Matt, what would you say it was?
I would say it's some form of spy satellite.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Someone from another podcast wants to see how we do our shit.
Yeah. Jake wants to know, how come we keep getting so many things wrong?
This is definitely Jake.
I'm going with that.
I think Jake is trying to infiltrate our notes and putting in wrong facts so that we look like fools.
Oh my!
Because we would never get facts wrong normally.
No,
as you know. So
no. I think he's been influencing us. I think he's been sending like really, yeah. So we get it wrong.
Gosh, so much fake news about. I'm going to look into it.
It's really this one's really big for SpaceX though, because it's the third time they've launched a military contract. So if they get this right, they really will have cemented themselves as the military's choice for launching satellites, which is unprecedented. And of course it means that Congress is chuffed because the Air Force are now not relying on rocket engines that aren't built in the US.
Oh man, that would be good.
So Elon Musk smashing it there.
I tell you what, quite a week for him. Did you see the semi truck? And out of the back of the truck when they launched it, I believe yesterday or the day before, there was a new Roadster that came out the back just when everyone thought that the presentation on his electric trucks had finished. He was like, "Oh, by the way, we've got the new Tesla Roadster. This thing goes from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds." And he was quoted to say, "It will make all gasoline-fueled cars seem sluggish."
Well, yeah.
How
At
cool
1.9
is that?
seconds, I'm sure, I guess it will.
Get in there, Musk. Drink.
Okay, now, I must admit, I thought that the Delta II had long stopped flying. But no, it's quite
still going.
old looking. Yeah, it's still going, and this one looks really, it just looks really old fashioned. I don't know why. And this will be the Joint Polar Satellite System, which is the next generation polar orbiting weather observatory. So that will undoubtedly beam back these beautiful pictures back to Earth that will appear on everyone's Instagram feeds over the next 10 years. And China are trying to launch a Long March 6 rocket this week. Also, an Earth observation satellite, the Jilin 1. There we go.
Well, goodness me!
So quite busy.
Busy times.
Busy times in the old space. So, Jamie, what we doing next week?
Well,
just chilling.
We're just chilling, aren't we?
No, actually, hopefully, Jamie, you can join me tomorrow. But we've got an interview with David Baker that we're going to stick in as well. About now that the dust has settled, we will be talking finally about Elon Musk's BFR.
Incredible scenes.
We're going to do a bit of a deep dive on that with one of the world's leading space experts, David.
It's just what we do. It's just what we can bring.
It's what we're bringing to the table. I don't want to brag about it.
You know, people think we're small fry, but yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you like them apples?
Click on the old iTunes. Subscribe.
Oh, please do.
Leave a lovely
Oh, please do.
for us.
Christmas is coming.
if you do an extra special review, you might find a interplanetary mug or wall clock coming your way. Thank
Sweet
you very
relief.
much.
I want to win that.
Well, we all want to win it. That's why I keep signing in on different accounts and leaving reviews.
I mean, Matt, I don't want to say stocking fillers, but I'm going to say stocking fillers. You know what I'm saying?
Stocking filler. Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh yeah,
dude. We've done it. We've done this. We've filled this podcast.
We've done it.
We can move on. So, Jamie,
it's the Interplanetary Podcast, putting the A's back into space. Dive.
The thing is, we don't need to. We don't need to.
He's done our jingles.
He's done our jingle, and that we can use that Interplanetary Podcast forever now. Oh my god, Jamie. We have a Shakespearean actor, world famous actor, world famous voice artist.
Yeah.
Doing our podcast slogan.
It's just, is this real life?
Kaboom, kaboom. I'm pinching myself. Oh no, I've woken up.
Matt, stop pinching yourself. You'll go blind. I told you that.
Nice. Anyway, Jamie, let's wrap it up.
All right, bye everyone.
I know you're enjoying talking to me. Bye everyone. See you soon, bye.
See you soon, bye.